If you're looking for professional day trading education, high level trade analysis, and dissection, you, my friend, have come to the right place. My name is Pat Mitchell. I've been a professional day trader for the past 11 years, and I'm here to bring you exactly that professional day trading, all here for free on YouTube and education. I'm all fucked up. YouTube and on X. I started thinking about how I fumbled the words there and the way it went. That's all right. Not important. So today we're going to be going over 3 trades that I took. One specifically, we're going to go into a little bit more detail, and I'm going to explain exactly how to focus, what you're waiting for. We've all heard people say, especially a professional trader say, you're waiting, or I'm waiting for this stock to set up. So I want to explain and show you and give you an example of exactly what that is and what that means and how you just wait for it to come to the palm of your hand. It's something that I had a big problem with when I first started trading. So I hope this video helps you. So without any further ado, one sec here, folks. I'm going to fire up my charts. One sec. I hope you all had a wonderful day. Let's do this. Okay, guys. So like I said, took a few trades here today. We were dealing with some shenanigans on the daily chart. So right at the open, in and around these areas, there were so many, it was basically a minefield of support and resistance. No matter which way you went, support was just below, and then the resistance was just above, followed by another resistance. There's super tight ranges, which can be difficult to navigate if you're inexperienced. And in order to get that level of experience, either you got to work with a guy that has that level of experience, or it takes you a really long time. Long story short, it's not an easy day to navigate if you're looking at this from a purely technical standpoint. There's a lot to go over and a lot to think about. So it was an interesting day. Now, the market kept opening. It was either going to open above or below this level here on SPY. This level was yesterday's highs. This here's the previous close. This here is yesterday's high. So it's like, it's real close. And like I said, it can be difficult to navigate. So what we wanted to do instead is, because Qs had 2 very definitive levels, we wanted to focus on something that just had more definitive support and resistance without that shit in the way. And then if something else set up, then we can get to it. So first trade off the bat, market opens up, pretty straightforward traditional trade here at Tricktrades. Let me take off my magnet. So market opens up, dips down straight into that level. Perfect. Beautiful execution, and then simply run it all the way into our resistance. So that is that first trade there. So we went long on Qs coming down into the previous close. Pretty straightforward. Locking in $2,466 on that trade. And then I just held for a little bit. My remaining contracts very small. I think I had 4 contracts left, and then just took it off when it kept pissing around. So that was that. Nice trade, solid trade, nice entries, nice exits. I like it. Now let's go to, is it this? No, next one. So there's, oh yeah, that's right too. There's a secondary entry, and I've talked about this a lot. For every long, there is a short. For every short, there is a long. Straightforward, right? So if you execute this long, and this is your target up here at that resistance level, well, what else can you do besides use that as a target for a long trade? Well, you can simply go short coming into that level. So on Qs, we didn't have to give it too much risk. Never got over pre-market highs. Very easy trade. I'm going to clean this up here quickly. So as it comes up and approaches that high of day from yesterday, execute the trade. As it pushes through, add into the trade, and then just reap the rewards of a beautifully executed trade. So this one here ended up being about a 100% trade yet again. And that first target in the first big wash, multiple candle wash, but first big wash was about 50%. And that all happens within a few minutes. So super beautiful day. So locking in $7,881 on that trade. Now let's talk about this next one. This is the important one, or not necessarily important, but the focused trade. And I'm going to go over to another chart for this. So give me a sec. It'll be worth me getting this set up. Hang tight here, folks. So I'm just going to get the daily chart, although we're not super focused on the daily chart on this one. Okay. So got to get zoomed in and all that fun stuff. Sorry about this, folks. I could have done it on the other chart, but I think this will just be a lot better. Okay. So what we have here is a very straightforward trade. We held support. We come up into resistance. Some traders in the room did take that short. Beautiful trade. Easy peasy. That is a first reactionary trade. So what we have here, if you take a look, is there is trend. It's right there. And then we have highs. So I want you to focus now on this trend. On this trend, there are multiple areas to go short, right? There is a valid resistance level, but I want, now that we've already executed 2 trades and we've locked in, we only want the best of the best. So this is what I'm talking about now, the best setups. So when we have this high, that is resistance. This here, this trend, that is support. Okay, so we're working this support level. We also have this as resistance. So we have 2 resistance and 1 support. So every time it pops up, pulls back, pops up, every time it pops up, there is you can go short into that, but what do you have right below it? There is support, so it can get hung up there. So from this point going this way, we are now forming a trend. Okay, before that, it's not a trend yet. It's just a chart. So if you're adding into those positions after this line I just marked, you're kind of messing up because you're missing that you are going short into support. And it's a problem. It can get hung up. Does it have to get hung up? No, we're always thinking about odds. As professional traders, you think about the odds. What are your highest odds trades? And if we don't go short when there's support right there, and we don't go long when there's resistance right there, right? If there's no meat on the bone, it's not worth the risk. So what do? Well, if you take a look, there is one moment and one moment only on this chart, a 1-minute candle, a very quick entry, but it is only one that is the perfect entry when everything lines up and that chart tells you what it's about to do next. Like it's screaming at you what it's about to do next. So I hope you guys follow along. If I have this resistance right here and this resistance, we are now, if we are underneath this level, we are below the last level of resistance. So that's mark number 1. Okay, we're below that resistance. We're all good, right? But we need to get below support as well. Okay. So right here, do you see this green candle? And I will zoom in here in a sec so then you guys can really see it. That green candle with the top wick and bottom wick and small body. That is the moment. So I'm going to zoom in. Right here, this candle right here. So why is that the moment? Okay. So if you take a look here, and I should clean this up, but I won't. We pop up, we get back into above support and into resistance. It starts coming down, it tests trend. Next candle opens and we're below that support now, right? And it pops up, but it hasn't confirmed yet. There's no confirmation. Basically, you would be shorting a breakdown technically. So what you need to wait for is for it to do this. You want the retest. That retest right there, that is the moment. Now, some of you may be watching this and maybe it's going over your heads. Maybe you're not quite understanding. What I would suggest for you to do, and I'm fucking telling you, bookmark this video and come back to it in 6 months. I know that sounds like a tall order and it's a big ask. Frankly, I don't care whether or not you do. That's up to you. If you do that, you're now going to fully understand what I'm talking about. If you continue watching this channel and you're actually interested in education, that right there is the moment. So now let's talk. That's the perfect setup. And that's what this entry is. It is a focused, intentional entry. And sometimes when you look at a trader's entries, 99% of traders' entries, a lot of it is done off of emotion and just flying by the seat of their pants. Their entries, sometimes they're good. Sometimes there's nothing really there. There's nothing with intention. When you're looking at my entries, 99.9% of the time, so the opposite, you're going to see intention there. And that's exactly what that entry is. It is an intentional entry that if being the key word, if this sets up and gives me that perfect opportunity and that trade comes to the palm of my hand, I will execute that trade. Because what's happening here when it rejects and retests, it is telling you a story. It's telling you it's done. So where is it going to go next? Well, it has no choice, none. And I'm going to go over my exits here in a second too, because those exits are done with intention as well. Normally, you would see my exits where my cursor is, and I would strip off a bunch of size. Not in this case, because it's telling me a story. This here is telling me the story that once it rejects, it will now need to follow and basically come down and find a lower support level. The first major lower support level it has to test is yesterday's highs. Why? Because that's where it tested this morning. It has no choice but to go there. It has to. Will it do that 100% of the time? No, it sounds the same, but it's very different. 100% means 100%. Nothing is 100%, okay? But what I'm saying is when it rejects that and it gives you that one, it's yelling at you, take me, take that trade. It is coming down. Like I said, it has no choice but to test this. That's why you're seeing my exits in that area right there. Now I'm going to pay myself here because there is volume on that candle. You can see there's a lot of volume. So it's a volume zone that is very easy to bounce. So I have to pay myself there. But ultimately, my main target is that. And that's it. That key to this, and let me explain it. Right there, it's like, and this is how I explained it in the room. If you take a look at this trend, it's like walking on a ladder. And below that ladder is 100 feet down to the ground, right? And each rung of the ladder is a foot apart, right? But as long as you remain on those rungs, you're not going to fall. You're good, right? And then above you are monkey bars or another ladder. And because of these two levels of resistance, there's a lot to hold on to. So it's rejecting that. So you're holding and you're scaling across this ladder. Well, what happens when you run out of ladder? And that's what that is. It's ran out of ladder. Well, you're going to fall. You have no choice but to fall. There's nothing below you, right? Do you understand? It's the same thing. Gravity then takes over. It's the exact same thing. It's like walking off the edge of a ladder. You ran out of runway, man. At that moment, at this key moment right in here, it either needs to hold and push or it's going to fail. There are certain moments with these setups that it can only do one of two things. And it's important that we focus on those moments because if it came up, right? So it bounced off that trend one last time and came up. Well, you start in here, you add here, and she's going to come up. But because it sliced through, popped up, bumped its head, it's done, man. It's done. So when you execute a trade exactly like this, what you don't want to do is execute and pay yourself immediately. You are wasting this setup. Now, normally on a trade like this, first reactionary trade coming up into the level, execute, add, pay yourself. That's what you're doing. This is very different. This is yelling at you to take it and hold down to major support because it has to test that. It has to test that major support. Has to. First level of major support. Do you see how it sliced through that, completely disrespected, came down into that previous close area? There's a reason for that. It's going to test this at a minimum. It didn't want that. It came to the next, which is a better support level. That support level is the previous close. It's a more valid level. So right from highs down to lows, it has to. Has to. So if you want to learn how to come do this effectively and become a trader that actually knows what the fuck they're doing, instead of just gambling and throwing shit up against the wall and see what sticks, come to tricktrades.com. And if you don't, that's fine. There are literally 1,000 free videos for you here on YouTube that are all high level, but it's going to take you a whole hell of a lot longer. Why? Because you got to piece all these fucking lessons together. And you have to find out when to use them, when to pull them out. They're like tools in a toolbox, but you've never been told when to use a grinder and when to use a fucking drill. And you're using a hammer for everything. And that's the problem. So come to tricktrades.com. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Adios, folks.